Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and I just want to talk about something real quick because I passed the 25% way mark on my Camp NaNoWriMo goal and I didn't even realize it. What? I was in such an awful rut on day 4, and then day 5 I just came back with a vengeance and crushed it. I kind of worked through my problems, and I'm going to share a little bit on that on my a weekend writing video that I'll have posted on Saturday, tomorrow. But it's just so funny how some things like day 4, you can be in such a rut and feel like something's almost so insurmountable and then so quickly turn it all around. I joke all the time about oh, to be in a writer's mind, or oh, the life of a writer, but seriously, being a writer is just tough sometimes. Which leads me into my non-Camp NaNoWriMo discussion today, and it's something else that's hard for me that I want to discuss, and that is social media. And I'm gonna let you in on a secret that's not actually a secret because I know I've mentioned it before, but Kate Kavanaugh is not my actual name. No, it's my writer name. No. I like to think I've been pretty open about this. I just haven't given you another name to call me because why would I do that when you have Kate Kavanaugh? Kate is my middle name though, so. And I bring this up because I don't have social media outside of Kate Kavanaugh. I'm just not good at it. I don't really even particularly like it. I love my friends, I love my family, I like talking to them, and I like doing that in person or through text, and I will send people pictures or memes or whatever, but I just don't have social media. I finally bit the bullet and deleted my personal Facebook, and now I have nothing, and it feels so freeing. Which makes this extra hard then, because it's just not in my personality to have social media, and I will recognize that all of my Kate Kavanaugh stuff is social media. And I went through the gambit of trying different social medias that I could feasibly do under Kate Kavanaugh within my, limited skill set. I tried the Facebook thing and that was a no. I kind of tried Snapchat and that's also a no for me. So, I've pared it down. I can do Instagram, I can do Twitter, and I can do YouTube. And that is the extent of my social media presence, period. And I think the problem with that is because I'm like the ultimate consumer. I love consuming things. I will like your tweets, I will double click on your instas, I will watch all of your videos, and I will comment, but me putting something out there into the world, for some reason, it's just so against my general personality that I find it so difficult. It's just not my natural state, and I'm bringing this up during Camp Nano because 1, I'm doing daily vlogs and I could see how you would be like, excuse me. But for 2, because for the longest time I just consumed NaNoWriMo stuff. I roamed the forums without responding to anything. I watched people's videos that they posted. I would join a cabin and then not say anything during Camp NaNoWriMo. And at the time, I felt like I was getting a lot out of the experience because that was more than I'd ever had. I'm a writer, and while I now have a bunch of writer friends, I didn't before. So the full extent of just having a forum system where I could read what other writers were saying was amazing, and the idea of me interacting didn't seem important. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because I've had a lot of people comment on these videos. They just started doing daily vlogs too. This is their first time doing anything on YouTube like this, or people who are tagging me in Instagram posts, and it's awesome. This is an actual interaction, but I was not that person for a very long time. So if you're watching this and you've just kind of been considering it, I want to help push you into doing this. Just give it a try because you can't know if you don't try. And while past me did feel like I was getting a lot out of the experience when I was just consuming, there's something about actually sharing. And the great thing about sharing in this way is that it's not just sharing with other people, but it's also sharing with future me. When I got to print out my second draft of my story, and that was a huge thing for me, and it felt so awesome. And now I'm always gonna have a video that represents how I felt about it, and it's just cool to think that I can look back on that in a year, or if I ever actually publish it, I can reference back and be like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. It's just, there's something fun in sharing. So if you've been thinking about sharing, I highly recommend just giving it a try. And that can be sharing anything, just replying to someone's tweet, I consider sharing. Or commenting on one of the forum posts and sharing your first line of your story, because they do always have a thread about first lines, and it's one of my favorites because I mentioned how much I love people's first lines. And so yeah, I'm gonna also link that down below because it's just, I love it. And sharing in this way has also allowed me to meet so many people that I wouldn't have met otherwise when I was just consuming the things that people put out. And I feel like I've actually made like online authortube friends. It's so awesome. And that never would have happened if I didn't like push myself to do it. And besides sharing, if you're considering making a YouTube video for the first time to document your Camp NaNoWriMo experience, there's something so cool about using another part of your brain as like this creative outlet. And I will say that I think I commented on Sue Scribe's channel and I was saying that like it took me a long time to get used to just editing in general, because staring at my face for so long to get rid of all the awkward pauses and ums was like, ugh. It's kind of just like working through the process of writing a novel. You know, you finish the first draft and then you have to edit it. And then, you know, you get a new draft and you're like, well, I need to fix a little bit of this. And then you work all the way up until you get this finished product. And that's what I feel about these videos sometimes too. It's a whole new creative outlet for me. And again, something I never would have known if I hadn't given it a shot. So anyways, I do want to say, if you are looking at making Camp NaNoWriMo videos, not only do I highly recommend giving it a go because now is a time where you already have a built-in community around it, but I would also say that don't worry, you're gonna get better. Because I know I'd actually filmed a couple before I ever posted them and I was like, oh, this is trash. Don't worry. And if you are just starting out now, or you know someone who's just started making NaNoWriMo videos, please comment them down below. I would love to check them out and give them a warm authortube welcome. And here's the part where I'm gonna ask for help, because all of this being said, and knowing that I get something out of creating and sharing now, I'm still kind of awful at it, just generally, because while I'm doing these daily vlogs, and while I'm participating in NaNoWriMo, and while I'm readying myself for my trip, like there's a lot going on, but it makes it so easy to just stop going on Twitter or stop going on Instagram. And even more so, I actually just revert back to my consumer tendencies where I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go like everyone else's stuff and not say anything about me. And that's just how I do it. And so I don't know, like, for those of you who are really good at social media, what do you do? Is this not a problem that you have? Like, do you actively think about what you're going to post ahead of time? Like, do you have a schedule? Or I feel like what I need to do is kind of come up with a schedule like I do for YouTube, where I'm like, well, this is an idea and this is an idea, and then if I have an extra idea that just randomly props up, you know, I can go ahead and feel free to do it. But I don't know, I'm struggling. And this is also because, you know, I want to get away from like talking about brands and stuff, but you know, there is something about having an author brand, and so much of what an author does is online, so you have to like have an online presence. And so to struggle with that, I just get a little bit wary. And so I want to find a way to kind of like overcome this and get better at it and feel more comfortable with sharing across like multiple different social media platforms. And I don't know if it's like a mentality thing that needs to change or something else. But before I end this video, I do want to give a slight update on my story, because I actually have a character's name that I know I'm gonna change, and it's a very minor thing, and I've talked before at length about how bad I am at naming things or coming up with names for stuff, and this one I did come up with a name, but I want to change it. Something about it doesn't fit. It's the celebrity who's being haunted that my 7 main characters, a la like Scooby and the gang, you know, but not. They're trying to help, right? But I have his name, and his name is Michael Slant right now, and I just don't like it. So my question for y'all is, do you have anything that you already know that you want to change from your story? That you're like, okay, I'm gonna move past this point, I'm going to keep going ahead, keep, you know, barreling through Camp NaNoWriMo, but I am definitely gonna change something and I already know what it is. Please comment down below, I would love to hear about it. And my other question for y'all is social media related, because I'm curious how you guys like to follow different authors or different writers. And I know this will be skewed because we're all, you know, we're on here on YouTube. But outside of YouTube, do you have any authors that you find are just like excellent users of social media, and what do you like about that, or how do you personally like to interact with other writers? All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with a new video. Bye. Kate Coff. Can't even say my own made up name. I would love to hear what some of y'all's favorites are. I love watching and liking and viewing all of these things, but do I love creating it?